Hey everybody, welcome to No Bones About Wrestling. I'm your host Asa, and I'm here with Kay Fabulous.
Hey.
And this is the very first episode of WWE Weekly. Hooray!
Yay!
Yay! Yay! So welcome, and the first of many, we hope. This is a new show. You might remember we did a show called This Week in WWE. Kind of similar, but we're taking it in a different way. We got some new segments for you, and we're gonna see what works, what doesn't, and we'll have some new segments for you in the coming weeks as well, because not everything is gonna work, but we'll see what does. So yeah, we got some rankings, we got some show results, we got some talk about storylines. We got some other things I won't let you. I'll let you be a little surprised about. But hopefully this will help get you through what's been just a shitty week, man. Let's be honest about it. It's been a shit week if you're a wrestling fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Terry Funk died, which was, maybe a blessing. He was 79, going through dementia, which if you've had a loved one who's had dementia, it's not a pleasant thing. I don't wish that on anyone. I was commenting last night, I was saying, the horror of that is that the man has traveled the world, been in some of the most memorable places, and been in some of the most memorable wrestling feuds, and now he can't remember any of it.
Yeah.
And how fucking cruel a fate is that?
Yeah.
That's sick. So Terry Funk died, of course, and that's awful. But like I said, maybe a blessing. Depends how you look at it. I don't mean to ruffle any feathers by saying that. I'm just saying I don't know if I would want to live and not be able to remember my fucking name. I don't know. That's just me personally. But yeah, so that one was tough. Just being a wrestling fan, being I consider myself a kind of a historian of wrestling a little bit. If you like wrestling, if you delve into the history at all, you're gonna find Terry Funk to be one of the most universally beloved figures in wrestling. Everyone has nice things to say about him, and if you go through the pantheon of great wrestlers, nobody spent more time on their back looking up than Terry Funk. I mean, nobody spent more time putting other guys over than Terry Funk. Nobody put their ego out of the way more often than Terry Funk. Nobody did more for other people to get over than Terry Funk. And that's something that I think that's a trait that more people in the world could use,
Mm-hmm.
Being able to spot talent in others and help them foster it, and not ask for or expect anything in return. Just do a deed just to do it,
Mm-hmm.
Just do a good deed because you want to do a good deed. And
Yeah.
and that was by all stories, that was the way Terry Funk was. Was an angry, vile son of a bitch on camera, but as soon as the camera stopped rolling, supposedly was, just very lovable and warm, nicest guy you've ever met. But then when the camera started rolling again, he would try and brand you with his branding iron from the Double Cross Ranch in Amarillo, Texas. But yeah, so that was tough. And then of course Bray Wyatt dying, Wyndham Rotunda. That man, that was awful. That was awful. Kay, do you have anything? You have anything you want to say?
About Bray Wyatt?
Yeah, about either of these deaths.
I don't know a lot about Terry Funk, to be honest. I've seen a few of his matches, but as our listeners know, I didn't start watching wrestling until the 2000s, so I missed his career pretty much. What I do think of when I think of Terry Funk is one of my favorite recordings regarding wrestling, and our local radio station plays it all the time, pretty much anytime they talk about wrestling. And it's when this man is like, stands up at a con, like an interview panel.
Yeah.
And he starts like crying and talks about how, like, and thanking Terry Funk he calls him Mr. Funk for putting his body on the line, and how wrestling is real to him, and he's like crying about it. And I feel like that's just, I know the radio station plays it because it's like they're making fun of him, but I feel like that's how I feel as a wrestling fan, you know? And so with Bray Wyatt, that just hit me harder than I expected.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd stopped watching wrestling until you mentioned to me that WWE was doing this storyline with a cult, and I happen to have this strange obsession with cults, and so I started watching those segments with you when they were on, and I still hadn't gone back to watching wrestling yet, but I would watch some of the Wyatt family segments, and this was towards the end of the Wyatt family. But when he was still, like, when at the beginning of his feud with Randy Orton, and I feel like Bray Wyatt is a big reason that I got back into wrestling after leaving it, and I think a lot of people feel that way, because WWE went through a period where it was just kind of not great.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Went through a period where he was one of the few bright lights.
Yeah, and so I feel like he's responsible for a lot of people coming back to wrestling after leaving it during WWE's like dark period, you know. And I think he took wrestling to a place that I didn't think it could go, just as far as storytelling goes. Like, watching the Bray Wyatt character change and go through all these, like mental breakdowns, essentially. And fighting with, like, his own literal demons. It was just such compelling storytelling. And to see that coming from a wrestling show is just remarkable. He was a remarkable creator. I think he left the world with a lot left still to do.
Yeah, 36.
Yeah. It's younger than both you and I.
Yeah.
So that hits a little harder, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I just feel for his family and those he's left behind, you know?
Yeah, I don't know what I can say that you didn't. You said it pretty well, but yeah, Bray Wyatt, one of the reasons I got back into wrestling, actually. I believe it or not, I'd stopped watching wrestling for a while, and a couple acquaintances of mine had been watching wrestling, and I said, well, if they're watching it, it must be pretty good. And then I got wind of this, cult leader who wore Hawaiian shirts, and he talked like this, or whatever, and hey, everything's gonna be alright. And I was like, who the fuck is this fucking guy with his hats and what the fuck in his rocking chair? And I immediately loved him, and saw he was trying to be different in a company where too many people try to be the same. He wanted to be different.
But still felt so authentic.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like he was doing a character, no matter which character of his he was doing, I felt like he was just showing us a different part of him every time.
The Fiend?
Yeah. I'm sticking with what I'm saying, because I mean it. I think The Fiend was a part of him,
I hear you.
I
hear you.
I mean, I think he was, putting it under a microscope, but,
yeah, just a bad part of him.
Yeah, I think everyone has their own demons, I mean, he was just visually depicting one of his.
I hear you. I immediately loved the guy, and it just got better and better from there. I thought, as a storyteller, he was fantastic. In ring, he was very good. He was so good at telling a story in the ring. Just using his body, and his opponent's bodies to tell a story. It could just be a glance. It could mean a lot from him. So skilled at that. Such a good actor, naturalistic actor. Very skilled, very creative, and like you said, it was like we're seeing different pieces of his personality. I thought I like when you said that.
Well, I think that's why so many people felt so, intimately connected to him, They weren't just, a fan of him as a wrestler, but, because he gave us those glimpses of himself that felt so authentic, we were fans of him as, a person.
Yeah.
I have one more thing that I kind of want to add.
Let me finish.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But yeah, so Bray Wyatt. So what happened eventually was he, if you haven't heard, he got COVID, and he had a underlying heart condition, and the COVID exacerbated his heart condition, and eventually he had a heart attack while he was in the process of trying to make a comeback to the wrestling ring. He knew about this heart condition. He'd known about it for years, but he was trying to make a comeback to the wrestling ring. And that's why he's been out for months. That's why he missed WrestleMania this year, was this heart condition. But he was trying to return. And just the other day, like I said, the COVID had apparently exacerbated the condition too much, and he had a heart attack and did not make it, unfortunately, at 36 years old. So, people out there, take care of yourselves. And, what this COVID does to our bodies, we don't know yet. I mean, here was this guy living with this heart condition, living with it for years, and then he catches COVID, and then it does him in at 36. Wear your masks out there. I don't know what else to tell you. Wear your masks. Wash your hands. I mean, this shit is no joke. Get vaccinated. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, this shit is no joke, and then. Yeah, it's no joke. He's not the only one, who's died. I've known people who've died from it. It's not gone. So we need to stop pretending like it's gone. We need to start. We need to start acting like it is still dangerous and is still around, and taking maybe a little more caution than we have been lately. That's all I'll say about that. What did you want to say?
I was going to share my favorite Bray Wyatt memory, and then ask you to share your favorite Bray Wyatt memory. So this is not only one of my favorite Bray Wyatt memories, but it's one of my favorite moments in wrestling history, and that is when we have The Fiend's first appearance, and he comes out, and then he lifts up the severed head of Bray Wyatt, which he has turned into a lantern, and walks to the ring with it, and then just sets the severed head down on the ring apron and gets in the ring like it's nothing. And that image has been, like, burned into my brain. Because, I have a terrible, terrible memory. I remember very few moments in my life. But that one, like, I remember my reactions and having the conversation with you. Is that a head? Is that Bray Wyatt's severed head? And just, like, the awe and excitement that brought to that entrance. So that's my favorite Bray Wyatt memory. Do you have a favorite Bray Wyatt memory or moment? Or character, since he had several?
I don't know if it's my favorite, but one of my favorite, one I won't forget is, WrestleMania is the grandest stage of all, we always call it. And I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's one I won't forget, is when he had a WrestleMania match against Randy Orton. And Orton was down in the ring, something had happened to him, and Orton was down. And then in the we go to a sky-high shot of the ring, and then all of a sudden, we see these giant clips of bugs, bugs and snakes and whatever the hell else, being shown in the ring. Supposedly, some mind games being played by Bray Wyatt on Randy Orton. Now, Randy Orton chose to not sell it and act like nothing was there.
Which was a bummer.
Yeah, which was a bummer. Yeah,
fuck him. But understandable.
But understandable, yeah. Because he would have looked totally ridiculous had he sold it.
Yeah.
But, wrestling sometimes can be totally ridiculous, so maybe you should have just sold it, Randy,
Yeah.
But, that's one of the first things I think of when I think of Bray Wyatt, because it just it was one of those times, when I just stood up and clapped,
Yeah.
I just loved it so much. I like the ways that Bray tries to get in his opponent's head. I like so much about him. His look. I like the fact they used the mandible claw as a finisher. That's such a cool move. Such a gross move. Putting your hand in your opponent's mouth. Ooh, that's gross. But yeah, I will miss so much about him. I will miss so much. Yeah, I don't know if there's a wrestler who's passed that I feel like I will miss this much as I will miss Bray Wyatt. Yeah, he was one of those. He wasn't out for the personal glory, or to be on the most, fitness magazine covers, or to sell the most toys necessarily or anything like that, you know. He seemed to just want to be creative, to be the most creative, to see how far he could push things, you know. Could he get, you know, pushed to the boundary of the TV 14 rating or whatever age they were in, the TV PG rating. You know, how far can I push this? You know, what can we set on fire and etc. Things like that. How much stalking can the Wyatt family do? Yeah, he will be missed. He will be missed. So,
So our typical format for WWE Weekly, is that we will normally start with match results, but we just wanted to say a few words about Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. So, Asa, do you want to run down our Raw results?
Yeah.
Okay, what you got?
Hey, Raw, the 21st of August, Quebec City, Quebec, in Canada. Believe it was a non-title match. The undisputed World Tag Team Champions, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, beat Finn Balor and Damian Priest by disqualification. And then this was the main event. And then it got turned into a six-man tag where Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens then beat the entire male part of the Judgment Day. They added Dominic in there, so Dominic, Balor, and Priest lost. Also on Raw, before all that, the New Day beat Matt Riddle and Drew McIntyre in a tag match. Big upset win. Chad Gable beat Intercontinental Champion Gunther by countout, so he did not win the title. World Women's Champion Rhea Ripley beat Candice LeRae by submission in a non-title match. Akira Tozawa picked up an upset win over The Miz. And Women's Tag Team Champions Chelsea Green and Piper Niven beat Katana Chance and Kaden Carter in a non-title match. And SmackDown, part of it was a Terry Funk memorial show. More of it than that was a Bray Wyatt memorial show, so they only did 4 matches. United States Champion Rey Mysterio pinned Grayson Waller in a non-title match. Grayson Waller still looking for his first victory since being called up from NXT. WWE Women's Champion Io Sky pinned Zelina Vega to keep her title. And in a hardcore match that decidedly was not hardcore, the Street Profits beat the Brawling Brutes. And in the main event of the evening, LA Knight pinned Finn Balor. And so the match of the week this week, Chad Gable beat Gunther by countout. I gave it 4 bones out of 5. That was the match of the week. Big upset by Chad Gable. Gunther has not been beaten since he won the Intercontinental title back when?
June 10th, 2022.
June 10th, 2022. So quite a while there. And,
for a solo loss, yeah.
Yeah, for a solo loss. And SmackDown, I don't think I mentioned, it was in Louisville, Kentucky on the 25th. What else have we got?
Did you pick your match of the week?
I did, yeah. I said Chad Gable beat Gunther.
How many bones are you giving it?
I said
I know,
already.
I'm just asking again.
4 bones out of 5.
Okay. Do you remember what the AEW bone rating was for match of the week? I'm just curious how they compare.
With the AEW, I think it was 4.5.
Okay.
Orange Cassidy beat
Wheeler,
Utah.
Yeah, okay. Just curious how the bone ratings compared.
Yeah, well, AEW, generally, their televised matches rate better than WWE's televised matches.
Okay.
But also, I've found sometimes AEW's televised matches will be lower. Like the low will be lower than the WWE's lowest.
Yeah, AEW does a lot more squash matches than WWE.
Well,
does.
I don't rate squash matches.
Oh, that's true.
I'm just saying sometimes they'll have maybe a woman's match that just is the shits, you know. It ain't like shouldn't not have been sent out there in AEW.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Now that we're doing these shows separately, we'll see the
breakdown.
We'll see the breakdown. Yeah.
Okay, so up next we have a storyline recaps, and we're gonna start with talking about the faction that rules Raw, the Judgment Day, and their I guess I want to call him a pestering gnat, but that might be too harsh. But JD McDonough, who is the fly in the ointment that won't seem to go away. Do you want to handle talking about that?
Yeah. Well, first let's kind of lay down the Judgment Day. You know, you're talking about they rule Raw, and first let's kind of lay down why. We have Rhea Ripley, the WWE Women's World Champion. You have Dominic Mysterio, NXT North American Champion. You have Finn Balor, one of the best wrestlers on the planet. And you have Damian Priest, Senor Money in the Bank, with a contract for any belt at any second. So they're in a pretty damn good positions right now.
Yeah.
They all either have belts, or, you know, Finn could make an argument to receive a title shot pretty much any time, and Damian Priest could get one at any time, and Dominic keeps improving and has a belt of his own. Rhea has a belt of her own. So, I mean, they're, as they say, they're on a gravy train with biscuit wheels.
Is that what they say?
That's what they say.
That's like the most southern expression I think I've ever heard.
They're on a gravy train with biscuit wheels. And JD McDonough has now come from NXT. And was he drafted? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
He was drafted. And ever since has been after a spot in the Judgment Day.
He's just looking for his place in this world, you know? That's what I feel like. He came to the main roster and wants to know what table to sit at in the cafeteria.
You think he just likes wearing black and being...
And purple. No, I think...
being sullen, and you think he wants to sit with the... Like the Judgment Day, or definitely like the kids who listen to The Cure?
Yeah, that's the goth table.
So
yeah.
JD McDonough just wants to sit with the goth kids.
Well, I mean, if you were coming to Monday Night Raw and you wanted to affiliate yourself with someone, wouldn't you want to affiliate yourself with the most dominant force on the show?
Yeah.
So, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. But, you know, the question is he going to force himself in at the expense of another member? You know, is there room for him? Is there room for a fifth member? Or is someone going to have to go for him to join? Or the third option, is he not going to get to join?
I kind of feel like Damian Priest is going to turn face, and he's going to take Damian Priest's place.
That's kind of what I feel, too.
Yeah. I feel like they've been hinting at that for so long.
Do you feel that because I said it?
No.
Yeah, okay.
I don't remember you saying that.
I've been saying it for weeks.
I've been saying it for weeks. We got recorded evidence.
Okay, all right.
But, I mean, at this point, it's been hinted at for so long. It makes me think it's going to be like with Damage Control. They hinted at Damage Control breaking up for so long, and now they're, like, more unified than ever. They're, like, maybe this is just... They're just teasing that this is going to happen, and it's just never going to happen, you know? They like to do that. Have stories that just don't ever end.
Yeah. So if Damian Priest turns face, what new opponents does he have?
He has the Judgment Day. So Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, JD McDonough. There's 3 right there.
Okay.
If he's face, he could face Gunther. You know?
Right.
Anyone from Imperium. I don't remember who else is on Raw. But I feel like there's a lot of opponents that he could face. Yeah. But definitely all of the members of Judgment Day. What are you doing?
I'm just looking who he could face if he were a face. The Miz, he could fight.
He has a lot of options. How about that?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen?
No, that's kind of what I felt until I looked at the dearth of of opponents for him. But yeah, that's what I felt, is that Damian Priest is turning face.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why I got that feeling, but I do. I don't think there's going to be 5 members in Judgment Day. I just don't.
Yeah. So you think JD McDonough is definitely joining Judgment Day?
I do. I do.
Rhea Ripley's going to have to come around on him because she seems pretty anti-JD McDonough at the moment. And in my head, she's the leader of the Judgment Day.
She'll come around. He's going to do something to ingratiate himself to her. And...
he's going to like have to fall on the sword for Dominic in some way.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He'll prove himself to her. Yes. It'll be okay. Yeah, I see him as a 4th member for sure, and I think we'll see them pulling the trigger on that sometime in September. I see it happening pretty soon here.
Like at Payback?
Sometime in September.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see Priest out and McDonough in.
Do you think that Priest is going to cash in on Rollins and that's going to be what fully cracks the Judgment Day? Like that Finn's going to not be able to handle it?
That's a good question.
That's what I think.
That would be a good way to do it.
Yeah,
that would be a good way to do it. And so, yeah, let's say yes.
Do you think he cashes in and wins or cashes in and loses?
Man. I don't see... They need more star power, don't they?
Yeah.
And they could make him a star in a second, in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So why not? Why not do it?
Yeah.
Why not cash in and make him a star?
I think he cashes in, wins, and when he's holding up that belt in victory, Judgment Day attacks him. That's what I think.
What, you think at Payback? Or...
He doesn't know. He's not going to have a match with Seth at Payback because Nakamura has a match with Seth at Payback.
He could do it at Payback.
But he could cash in.
Cash in whenever he wants.
Yeah. Oh, well then maybe.
Maybe at Payback.
Yeah. That'd be cool. I forgot that he doesn't have to announce ahead of time. He can just cash it in. Well, that kind of leads us to our next storyline topic, which is Rollins and Nakamura and whispering sweet nothings to each other.
Yeah, so it turns out that Nakamura, he whispered in Seth's ear the other night, and that's what had Seth so freaked out on Raw. He said something along the lines of, "I know about your back."
Mm-hmm.
And what he's talking about, and Seth Rollins has made reference to this on numerous occasions, is basically his back's fucked up.
Yeah.
And I've been there, and let me tell you, when your back is fucked up, your life is not very pleasant. Because I don't know if you know this, but your back is like half of your body.
Yeah.
So when your back is fucked up, your body's fucked up. But yeah, he said, "I know about your back," and then so Seth goes and he talks on Raw, and he's telling about how exactly how his back is messed up and this and that and the other, and Shinsuke has this excellent rebuttal to all this, and he gave it in Japanese.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And they had subtitles over it. And what was he was saying? He was saying, when you go to bend over to pick up your kids, think about it. That's the back I'm gonna fuck up,
Yeah.
And when you do this, think about it. That's the back that I'm gonna fuck up,
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "You don't want to step in the ring with me, motherfucker. I'm gonna fuck that back up." Basically, is what he's saying.
That was
That's the gist. Yeah. With less fucks and motherfuckers. But that basically is what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
The fucks were implied in it. And they were.
Okay.
They were implied. Yeah, so what do you think about this Nakamura and Rollins feud for the world title? What do you think?
I can dig it. I like that they turned Nakamura heel. I like that they're giving him a push.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that they filmed this promo in Japanese and then put subtitles.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we got to see Nakamura like as a person and a character for the first time, Because, his English is limited, and instead of forcing him to try and do a promo in English, allowing him to convey emotion with what he's saying in Japanese was so much more impactful,
Yeah, I agree.
So I wish they would do this more, I feel like we would get to know him better as a character and as a person, and as a wrestler, if they allowed not just him but all of their wrestlers with limited English. Like, people can read subtitles, like, it's okay. That's an acceptable way to do a promo.
I think most people read subtitles very slowly, actually.
Oh.
Unfortunately.
But they can still read them, for the most part. So I liked it. I would like to see more like this.
Personally, I liked it. I think people read subtitles very slowly. I think I've worked at video stores. I know people hate subtitles.
Oh.
They hate them.
I like them.
I like them too. I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
But people hate subtitles.
There are times where I'm like, I don't want to watch that Korean movie because I don't feel like reading right now. Right. But, for like 2 minutes on a wrestling show, I can handle it.
Yeah, I hear you. But right, no, it did let us see his character and his passion for to be evil come out.
Yeah, that's nice.
And this, they should do that whether it's their Hispanic characters or Japanese characters or whomever. If their native language, if it's stronger, let them use that. If they're more comfortable using it, they should let them use that. Mm-hmm. Work on their English, obviously, because that's more effective.
Mm-hmm.
But until their English is more effective, let them use their native language, because that's going to be more effective. I mean, it was way better than him speaking in broken English.
Yeah.
Way better.
Yeah.
Which is he's always done. And you can't understand what the fuck he says.
Yeah.
You know, let's be honest about it. You can't understand what the fuck he said, because he's tried before, and he tries to enunciate, and he's terrible at it.
He's still learning.
Okay, we can be honest. He's terrible at it. But now they let him speak in his native language, and you can tell he's confident about what he's saying.
Yeah.
And he's getting across what he's saying. The emotion gets across, and that's the main thing, is the emotion got across.
I mean, I think we've seen the same thing with Asa Sky and with Asuka. When they let them just, like, yell in Japanese, like, it's so much more effective. Even when they don't subtitle it, I feel like they get their emotions and intent across more than when they try and do a promo in English. So hopefully we'll see more of this from the WWE. In other news, in other storylines.
So wait, I'm not done. So who early prediction? So who leaves Payback with the world title? Nakamura or Rollins?
I think Damian Priest.
Oh, that was not an option. Who leaves that match with the world title?
Seth Rollins.
And then Priest.
Yeah, and then Priest
picks the bones.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then he gets jumped. That's what I think is going to happen, but we'll see. Can I go to the...
Yeah.
So we kind of already talked about Gunther.
Gunther.
They call him Gunther now, so I'm going to say Gunther. So this was his first solo loss, and now he's got a match at Payback again against Chad Gable. What do you think's going to happen?
Oh, he does have a match against Chad Gable.
He does.
I missed that.
We haven't gone over the Payback card yet.
Yeah.
Oh wait, never mind. That's a rumored match.
Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah, never mind. Rumored match, not official match.
Yeah, forget it then.
Yeah, sorry. I read it, but I read it under rumored matches, not under official matches.
Forget it then. No.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is, if they were to have a match, do you think Gunther's going to retain? Because he's going to have a match at Payback. We just don't know against who.
Yeah, because he's very close to beating the Honky Tonk Man's record of longest Intercontinental Championship reign. And I think it falls within... I think it might be before Payback, actually. No, I think it might be a little bit after Payback, actually. So, no, he's not losing the belt. He's going to beat Honky Tonk Man's record. They're trying to make all these records fall. You know, they had Bianca Belair. They gave her the longest women's reign of the quote-unquote modern era, which I still am not sure what they meant by that. I don't know what they meant by that. Gunther now is going to have the longest Intercontinental title reign. The European title, they retired. The 24/7 title, that retired. They've got this new World Heavyweight title, so Seth Rollins automatically has the highest reign on it. Roman has the longest Universal reign, and now he's got the WWE title. Had it for... I'm not sure how long he's had the WWE title.
I don't know. It's been like 2 or 3 years.
No.
Isn't it?
The Universal one is the one he's had for 3 years. He picked the WWE one up later.
But how much later?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't remember. My point is, is that Gunther's going to keep the belt because they're erasing all these records and giving them to new, quote unquote, new legends.
Well, that makes me hope that his match at Payback, if he has one, is not against Chad Gable, because I would love to see Chad Gable be the one to dethrone him.
That would be awesome.
I mean, he's the first character that they've given even a glimpse of hope to, you know? So that's a big deal. I mean, it's his first moment looking like there's a chink in the armor since he's gotten the belt.
Well, like I said, they got match of the week this past week. Just an excellent underdog tale told between Chad Gable and Gunther, and Chad Gable getting the count-out victory.
Mm-hmm. So our last storyline that I want to talk about deals with the redheaded stepchild belts on WWE, and that is the women's tag team champions.
Okay.
So we have Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville, who are the tag team champs.
Mm-hmm.
Sonya Deville is injured. She tore her ACL. She can no longer compete. And so here comes Piper Niven. And she physically takes the belt, one of the two belts, away from Chelsea Green, and says, "I'm your new partner. Let's go have a match." And they do. And they win. They basically squash Carter and I always forget her. Caden Carter and
Cash?
Chance, yeah. And so Chelsea gets fake injured in the match, or gets tired or something, or gets hit, and so Piper ends up carrying her and both belts out away from the ring at the end of the match. What are your thoughts on selecting the new partner for Chelsea Green in this manner, instead of either one, having her relinquish the belts like they've done in the past when there's been an injury, or two, having her choose her own partner, also like they've done in the past when a partner has been injured?
Well, I kind of like it. I think it's funny.
I do too. I like it a lot.
I think it's funny.
I didn't know you felt that way. I'm glad you do.
I like it. It at least gets her character across by Piper Niven.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm your partner, you know? And she's like, I don't think you understand. I'm your partner, you know?
Yeah, it was great. It was exciting to see one of those women that seemingly don't have a personality in WWE, because I feel like all their mid-card women, they just give no face to their personality, you know? And so for them to take a mid-carder, possibly a lower mid-carder, and give her a story and a personality that's amusing even, you know? I mean, I think that's so great to see them doing that. And what a perfect partner for her in Chelsea Green, you know?
She loves cooking, and she is forceful about the tag team titles.
She loves cooking?
I believe that's part of her gimmick. I've seen that at some point. She loves to cook. I've seen that somewhere.
Okay. I was unaware of the cooking side of her gimmick.
I've seen that somewhere. I swear. I keep up with the women, you know?
Yeah. And which ones can cook?
But I like it. Now, should they have done a tournament or something? Yeah, probably.
Follow-up question to that, though. Could they have done a tournament? Do they have enough women's tag teams to do a tournament?
Yeah.
I can name 3.
They got... Well, you got... Let's see.
You got Elba Fire and Isla Dawn.
1. You got Chance and Carter. 2. You got Green and Niven. That's 3. And then you could do Bailey and Dakota Kai. There's 4.
Is she cleared to wrestle?
Oh.
Dakota Kai. She hasn't had a match since she's been back.
I don't know.
I don't think so. Well, you could do Io Sky and Bailey.
You could do Bailey and Io Sky, yeah.
So that's 4.
There's 4.
They just did Charlotte and Bianca together as a tag team, but I feel like if you don't have a name, you're not a tag team. But
that's ridiculous.
I know.
So there's 5 we got. Baszler had a partner. Oh, it was Rousey. Maybe Baszler could team up with Rodriguez.
While Liv is hurt?
Yeah. That'd be a cool team. Baszler and Rodriguez are 6. If you really needed 6. And then Becky could team up with Why don't I do Becky and Nikki? There's 7. So we should have had a tournament. It sounds like. I mean, we got some pretty good teams here. We got 7 teams, so we could have given a bye to the Chelsea Green and Piper Niven team. Could have gotten a bye since they were since Chelsea Green was a champion.
Mm-hmm.
Give them a bye in the first round, and let the others fight it out to make it to the second round. And bam, you got a nice little women's tag tournament going. Yeah. You should have had a tournament. Make it like a 1-night tournament.
Didn't they just do that though for the titles like 2 title holders ago? Like, isn't that how Raquel and Liv got them back?
I don't recall, but I tell you what you do. You put it on, make it a big deal. Make the women's tag titles mean something. Do it on a Wednesday. Put it on the Peacock. Put it on the network. Women's tag titles tournament. Do it all in one night. And do it on a Wednesday. Make it mean something. Try something. Try something different. That's what I would do with it.
I feel like the viewership would be down.
I feel like people would get interested. You try something new. Hey, the WWE's on Wednesday this week. Yeah, they're having a women's tag tournament. Huh.
Would you watch that instead of Dynamite?
I would watch it. I would flip channels.
Mm-hmm.
Depends who was on, what I would be watching.
Interesting. I would watch it after Dynamite.
I mean, I would watch Dynamite 90% of the time, sure, but I would be switching.
Yeah, but if you're switching between anything and Peacock, that's a lot of clicks to get. You can't just hit the last button on the remote like you used to.
But see, there are plenty of people out there who wouldn't. There are plenty of people out there who would just watch the women's.
Yeah.
So just do it. Try something different.
I like it. I like the idea. So,
I mean, give it. You get a bracket and make a little bracket game too.
You and your brackets.
Yeah, I mean, I love brackets. Yeah, but I mean, to get a little bracket game going, have something for the winner. Fucking try something new, WWE, for the love of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Turn something shitty. One of your tag tournament partners gets hurt, and then you put together. We put it together in 10 minutes here.
Mm-hmm.
7 teams. World tag title tournament. That means 6 matches, 1 night. Have a bracket contest for your fans. You get 6 women's tag matches, so not too many, not too few. Sounds like a nice card. You can give the matches some time. You can get 6 10-minute matches, make them some good matches, and really show people something with it. And you tried something new, and then it'll be a success. So why not?
We forgot about Trish and Zoe Stark. That could be another tag team, so there's 8.
There could be another tag team, so there's 8. Yeah.
Because they've actually tagged together before.
Exactly, so there's 8.
Yeah.
Bam.
All right.
And then you could get some interesting matchups in the tournament, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
Yeah. And it doesn't mean you have to, stop all other women's storylines, because you could continue to have Becky's tag team go up against Trish's tag team.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. That would have been better. But I did enjoy Piper just, claiming the belt and getting it that way.
Yeah.
It's one way to get your first title in WWE, just grabbing it physically and saying, this is mine now.
Yeah, but hey, 1-night women's tag tournament would have been better.
Yeah, I agree.
And then you're also hurt AEW, because take some viewers from them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a win-win-win-win. Everyone wins.
Correct, yeah.
If you're WWE.
Mm-hmm.
It's a no-lose scenario.
So speaking of tournaments, well, I guess it's an invitational. Is that a tournament? Is that the same thing?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I'm going into news now.
Okay.
So we have Butch of the Brawling Brutes, who has now been announced for NXT Global Heritage Invitational. This will determine who will challenge Noam Dar.
Noam Dar.
Noam Dar?
Noam Dar.
Okay, sorry, Noam Dar. For the Heritage Cup Championship at NXT No Mercy. So he's one of, I think, 6 competitors announced so far, most of whom are other NXT people. So that's cool. I would love to see him get something, you know? He's such a weird, good guy. I don't really know how they chose him. I always wonder that, like, how they decide which main roster people are going to drop back down to NXT for a minute. It's odd. I can never tell if it's, like, an insult or if it's, like, a compliment, like, we want more people to watch NXT, so we're taking you and putting you down there to bring more eyes to it.
Yeah.
Or if it's, like, you need more work, go back down to NXT.
Yeah, I hear you.
And so it's always a little questionable. In other news, Braun Strowman, Karrion Kross, Shotzi, and Rob Fee, who's WWE's Director of Long-Term Creative, all got Bray Wyatt moth logo tattoos in honor of Bray Wyatt this week. As well, WWE is donating all proceeds of Wyatt merchandise to his family. So I thought that's worth mentioning.
From here forward, I believe is what they said.
Oh, okay. I was wondering.
I'm not sure how far forward.
It would be nice if it was like forever, you know. In other news, WrestleMania 40 breaks WWE's all-time gate record, passing the $21.5 million mark from Los Angeles last year. And then, Asa, I believe you have some Edge news.
What was the gate total? Did you have it?
Yeah, it's $21.5 million. That was the Los Angeles gate. They have not said what their gate is as of now. Just that it's surpassed that.
Philadelphia.
Yep.
Yeah, Philadelphia. For WrestleMania.
Is that your Philadelphia accent?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. So you want to talk to us about Edge and not a Philadelphia accent?
Yeah. So, Edge. He's been on this big comeback. He never thought it would happen because he's had fusion surgeries and this and that. But he eventually made it happen and has been enjoying himself, and a lot of the fans have been enjoying him. He's been back for, a year now? Year and a half, 2 years?
I think it's closer to 2, yeah.
Closer to 2 years. Yeah, time is just relative now. I have no idea how long anything takes anymore. But I think he's been back for about 2 years. And this week, words got flying that he had thrown down an offer from the WWE that he wanted some crazy money and was going to AEW, where Tony Khan and his rich daddy would pay him crazy money to go and end his career there with Christian, and where he'd be happier and this and that and blah blah blah, Edge came out and posted a video. I don't know what he posted it on Facebook or what the hell ever. He posted it on the internet somewhere of him sitting in what I heard was his North Carolina mountain home, which it just pisses me off. But I'm just jealous, just spiteful and jealous. That's all. Yeah, we live in North Carolina. We live about an hour from where Edge is, and he has a beautiful home and a lot of yard. And he was there drinking out of his Golden Girls coffee mug, which is pretty cool. And I'm starting to see that Edge and I have more in common than I'd like to know.
I was about to ask, are you more jealous of the Mountain Home or of the Golden Girls coffee mug?
Well, I would like a Golden Girls coffee mug.
Good to know. I will get on that.
I love the Golden Girls. It's one of my favorite shows. That and WWE are some of my favorite shows. Just if you wanted to know a little bit more about me. I like Blanche. She's one of my favorites. Blanche and Dorothy are my favorites.
Sophia is my favorite, in case we're keeping track.
So no Rose. No Rose love here.
Rose is probably my second favorite.
So no Sophia love here.
No, Sophia's my first
favorite. Oh, you said she's your favorite.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We have equal love for almost all of them.
So anyway, so Edge films himself talking to his fans and says that everything on the internet is made up. He says that he hasn't asked anybody for, crazy money. He hasn't turned anyone down. He said basically the only thing that's happening is WWE sent him a contract offer. It's in his inbox, and he's just thinking about things. He said that's all that's happening. Is he's just thinking. Do I want to stop and spend more time with my family now? I mean, he seems like he's saved his money. His house was nice enough. I'm sure it's paid for. Or, do you want to go out and make some more? Make money for the grandkids or whomever, make more for yourself. Do you want to do that? And he said, basically that's his dilemma, is how much of his life does he want to work? I mean, he's older now. He's 50-some. How fuck old is Edge? 40-some?
I don't know.
He's 40-some, I bet you. Let me see. 98, 08, 18, 25. I bet he's 50.
49.
Okay. I was going to say 50. So 49. So, yeah, he's just contemplating how long does he want to wrestle, and does he want to finish up in WWE. And so they had an Edge night. If you saw it on SmackDown the other week, basically just, Edge, you're the greatest, and how can we ever fill your shoes, and that kind of thing. And it seemed like he was headed out. I mean, it was the kind of thing that you would only do if you knew someone was leaving, for sure. So that farewell video, I've never seen anyone do anything like that and the person stay. Never, ever. So that would be bizarre if he stayed.
He did not take his boots off and leave them in the ring, though.
That's true.
So.
It's true. But it definitely seemed like he was leaving, if that was any indication.
I guess only time will tell.
Yeah, but right. Only time will tell. And does he go to AEW and hook back up with Christian? That's what a lot of people want to see, is a 50-year-old Edge and Christian battling the Hardy Boys at 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a lot of people want to see.
Personally, it's not. My list.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I can watch the matches from the past. I don't need them at 50 risking their lives anymore.
Yeah,
they've done it. I've seen it. I can watch it anytime on Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
Know that we're not paid by Peacock. Just so you know, that's not a paid endorsement. That's just where the WWE Network happens to be. And that's not a paid endorsement either. That's just where all the matches happen to be. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with Edge. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. What else have we got here?
So that's it for our news, except for the Payback card, because we got Payback coming up. So these are the matches that are actually official and have been announced so far. We have Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura, in a title match for Seth's belt, which is called...
the World Heavyweight Championship.
Thank you. I get the belts mixed up. We have Rhea Ripley facing
Well, there's the Undisputed World Championship, and then there's the World Championship.
Yeah, it's not confusing at all. Glad they came up with some good names for these belts. Then we have Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez for the WWE Women's World Title. We have Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch in a steel cage match for nothing.
No.
It's not for a belt.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it's for nothing. It's for honor, and to know who's the greatest of all time or whatever they're fighting about. For the U.S. Championship, we have current champion Rey Mysterio defending against former champion Austin Theory. In another match that is not for anything, we have Miz, or The Miz, as he's called, versus LA Knight, which just got announced. And then Cody Rhodes is going to be there, but on the Grayson Waller effect. So not in a match.
I'm sure nothing will go wrong.
No, what could go wrong on a talk segment on a WWE PLE event? I guess PLE event is like saying ATM machine, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's a PLE.
Yeah.
Is that all for the Payback
That's
so
all
far?
we got for Payback so far.
What date is it?
I shall look that up while you talk about the history.
The history.
Yeah. So our next segment is on WWE history from around this time in previous years.
Bum, 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 bum.
Is that your historical music?
Da-da-da-dum. It is.
Oh, okay.
So, folks, I have a story for you. Hopefully you find it interesting. Going to talk a little WWF history. And this dates back to, well, as we sit here, it is August 26th. This dates back to August 30th of 1993. So the same week, 1993. 03, 13, 23, 30 years ago. I was trying to do my math. I was like, wow, that lines up really well, doesn't it? 30 years ago. I'm trying to think how to start it. So, at WrestleMania 9, Yokozuna, who was part of the Bloodline family, and the Rock and Roman Reigns and all them, he was really Samoan, but they said, put a diaper on him, give him a Japanese flag, you're a sumo, you're Japanese now. So, that's what they did. He won the world title from Bret Hart at WrestleMania 9. But then Hulk Hogan comes down, offers up this challenge right on the spot, gets a world title match, beats Yokozuna in under 3 minutes, and Hulk Hogan wins his 5th world title. A deflated Hulk Hogan, because this is during the WWF steroid trial eras. So this is the natural Hulk Hogan. If you want to see what Hulk Hogan looks like without using steroids, search WrestleMania 9 Hulk Hogan. It looks like a different man. And so Hulk Hogan is the world champion now for the 5th time. Flash forward. It is King of the Ring, June 13th, 93. And Hulk Hogan has not defended the belt, hasn't been on TV since WrestleMania in April. He's defending the belt against Yokozuna at King of the Ring, and a photographer gets up on the ring apron. And this is, it's a no-no. You don't do that. You can't get that close. But the photographer gets right up on the ring apron and uses he has a camera that's from like 1943, and he takes it and he uses a flash, and the flash is a fireball. It's a fireball right into Hulk Hogan's face. And then Yokozuna takes advantage of this. He hits Hogan, hits his finisher, pins him. Hulkamania is dead. And Hogan loses his 5th world title. Hogan is not seen again in the WWF for 10 years, we'll say. 10 years or so. So Yokozuna is the world champion for the 2nd time. So as I said, it's King of the Ring. It's the first time the King of the Ring tournament is on pay-per-view. It's a big deal. It's 8 men, 1 night. So to win, you have to win 3 matches in 1 night. And the winner gets a title shot at the world champion at SummerSlam. And so Yokozuna is the world champion. He's going to face the winner. And the winner is Bret the Hitman Hart. Probably the best wrestler in the company. Well, definitely the best wrestler in the company. And so it's set up for SummerSlam. Yokozuna versus Bret Hart. Bret is looking to get his title back. Like I said, he lost it back in April at WrestleMania 9 before all this crazy shit happened with Hulk Hogan and the steroids making him look weak and the camera flashbulb craziness and the Yokozuna being a fake Japanese guy and all this shit. Before all that, it was just Bret Hart was a good wrestler, so he had the belt. What?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So the photographer, did that turn out to be somebody? Like, was that like a wrestler pretending to be a photographer?
It was a manager, I believe, Harvey Whippleman.
Oh, okay.
But I believe that it was Harvey Whippleman, but I'm not sure if we were supposed to know it was him or not.
Oh, okay.
But I believe that's who it was. I could be wrong about that. I'm sorry if I'm wrong about the person. Doesn't matter who it was.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who it was. Who it was wasn't part of the storyline.
Okay.
The storyline was just, I think... That's a good question.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was going to be like Roddy Piper or someone just like pretending to be a photographer just to blind Hulk Hogan and cost him the belt, or Mr. Fuji, I guess, if it was against Yokozuna.
No, I'm pretty sure the photographer was Harvey Whippleman. Look it up. 1993 King of the Ring photographer. And so as I said, it's set for SummerSlam. Yokozuna versus Bret the Hitman Hart for the world title. So we flash forward about 3 weeks. It is July 4th. And we're on the deck of the USS Intrepid. Which is a big ship. Big naval ship.
It was
Harvey Whippleman, yeah. Mm-hmm. A big naval ship. And WWF is holding this contest, Body Slam Yokozuna. And they've got wrestlers there, of course, past wrestlers, present wrestlers. They've got NFL stars there, past and present NFL stars. They've got bodybuilders there. Who the fuck ever they can find who wants to come out and spend their July 4th grabbing another man's crotch. They've got him. Nobody can lift Yokozuna. According to WWF, at least, he is 568 pounds. Now, is he really that much? No. I don't think so. But that is what they build him as. But nobody can do it. Nobody can get it. And so the day goes on, but people are out and people are having fun and everybody's watching, and every competitor comes up, the people are watching and holding their breath and hoping that someone is going to be able to body slam Yokozuna. Person after person, man after man comes up. No one can grab him, Guys are pulling their backs and shit like that. And trying as much as they can. Nobody can lift him an inch off the ground. And Yoko's just standing there, just like chilling, just casual. And the afternoon goes on, and it goes on. It's getting in the late afternoon of July 4th. The crowd's getting kind of restless, and not much is happening. And in the distance, people start hearing the... It's a helicopter in the distance. And it comes, and it's coming to the deck of the Intrepid. And it comes and it lands. And it's blowing, it's blowing people's hair back, blowing their faces. And the helicopter lands on the helipad. And somebody gets out of it. And it is Lex Luger. And the last time Lex Luger was seen in the WWF, he was a character called the Narcissist. Which, if you don't know what the Narcissist, if you don't know what that word means, that means it's someone who's obsessed with themselves. And this character, he had women who would hold up giant full-length mirrors all around him so that he could, and he would come out in, skimpy shorts. And they would hold up mirrors all around him so that he could look at himself and pose. And stare at himself in 360 degrees. So it was a pretty good gimmick. But it didn't go over. People were bored with it. It didn't make people hate him. They just were kind of meh, whatever. But here he is. Here's Lex Luger. And he's not dressed like the Narcissist. He doesn't have the women, the mirrors, any of that junk. He's just Lex Luger. Which is how he was billed back in his WCW days. And he comes, and he kind of takes a couple breaths, and he stares at Yokozuna, stares at this beast of a man, this mountain of flesh that he has to try to move here. He kind of psychs himself up, and he steps up to him, and he grabs him, one hand under the crotch, the other hand up over his shoulder. And I'll be damned if Lex Luger doesn't grab this man, pick him up off the ground, body slams him. This crowd goes fucking crazy because they've seen people all day fail at this. Lex Luger flies in here in a helicopter and in one try body slams the World Wrestling Federation champion. And the people on the deck of the Intrepid lose their minds. So now this is a big deal now. And Vince McMahon sees these people going crazy. And so, of course, what else does he see? He sees dollar signs. And so, instead of just booking a Yokozuna versus Lex Luger match, that would have been too easy. Here's what Vince does. Is he decides he's going to send Lex Luger around on a bus tour of the United States of America. He's going to get him a custom bus, with a kitchen and all that kind of shit, and for his family. And he's going to get him a custom bus with a wraparound logo on it, with WWF logos and huge writing. It's going to say the Lex Express. And by means of this conveyance, Lex Luger is going to go from town to town, city to city, all across our great land, and get people to sign a petition that because he body slammed Yokozuna, he should get the world title shot at SummerSlam, not Bret Hart, who won King of the Ring tournament to get the title shot. And so, he's on the Lex Express for months. That's what we're told. Who knows how long it really was. But we're told he's on it for months. And so every WWF show, WWF Mania, WWF Superstars, WWF All-American Wrestling, Monday Night Raw, every WWF show, we're giving updates on the Lex Express. He's in fucking Ohio, Warrensburg. He's in fucking Lawrence, Kansas. He's in Austin, Texas. He's here, he's there, etc., etc. And he's, shaking hands and grabbing babies and this and that and the other. It's like he's running for the goddamn president of the United States. And all he's trying to do is get a wrestling match. And so, eventually, he hits whatever the magic number is. It's never revealed what the goal is, what the signature number is that he has to hit, or anything. What his goals are in terms of signatures, or time spent on this fucking bus, or anything else. But eventually, one day, it's announced that he's done it. Lex Luger has earned the world title shot at SummerSlam. He is in, and Bret Hart is out.
Did they have any kind of reaction from Bret Hart to this? Or was he just like, well, I guess I'm out?
No, he was a face.
So he couldn't be all, mad about it.
Right. He was a face. He didn't get to have any reaction. So they had to find something for Bret Hart to do. And so they end up getting Bret Hart involved in a feud with Jerry the King Lawler over who is the real king in the World Wrestling Federation. Is it Bret Hart or is it Jerry the King Lawler? And so we get to SummerSlam. It is August 30th. And the match comes. They bring someone out to they've now hired they've had Mr. Fuji, former tag team champion, as Yokozuna's manager. They've now hired fucking Jim Cornette as Yokozuna's American spokesperson. So I don't even have to tell you how ridiculous that was. Jim Cornette talking about this great Japanese sumo wrestler. You can imagine it for yourself. If you haven't seen it, you got to look it up. Look up Jim Cornette as Yokozuna's manager. It is Jim Cornette at his cornettiest. It's pretty good. But so the day comes, and Cornette and Yoko and Master Fuji are ready, and they bring in a guy to sing the Japanese national anthem. And then, of course, Macho Man Randy Savage is there, and he's dressed in one of his costumes, and all red, white, and blue with crazy red, white, and blue cowboy hat like he would wear, and they bring out Aaron Neville to sing our national anthem. And they bring out Lex Luger, and he comes out to Stars and Stripes Forever. And he's got this red, white, and blue wrestling gear, and he's ready. And so they have the match, and I won't go into all the details. Go watch the match for yourself. It's on Peacock, again, WWF SummerSlam 1993. It's the main event. The last match on the show. So the match goes, I want to say something like 15 minutes or so. Something like that. And Yoko's getting a little tired, and Lex can tell, and the crowd is wanting, everyone is wanting Lex Luger, this red, white, and blue, this American-made man to go for the kill, bring the world title back to an American, back to where it belongs, and get rid of this guy who's talking about Japanese supremacy and all this other junk that Jim Cornette is spouting off. Put him in his place, and they're wanting Lex Luger to be the man to do this. And so what happens is Lex Luger he was in a motorcycle accident years ago. And so he has this steel plate inserted in his forearm. So, so his arm stays together. And so what he does is he takes down his pad on his forearm, and he runs at Yokozuna, and he hits him with a flying forearm. He knocks Yokozuna out of the ring, and his big ass is knocked out, cold. And the count starts. 1, 2, 3, and Yoko's not getting up. 4, and he's not getting up. 5, 6, 7, and Luger he knows he can't go and get Yokozuna up. He could body slam him. Speaking of which, he body slammed him again during this match. He body slammed him again like he did on the deck of the USS Intrepid during this match. 8, the count is at. And like I said, though, he can't go and just pick up the dead weight of this man. 9, the count is at. 10, Lex Luger wins the match, but he wins by count out. So, he does not win the WWF title. He's won the match, but not the title. The ultimate in just the way you don't want to win.
Mm-hmm.
Just it gives you a sick feeling, because you won, you beat the man, but you didn't win the belt. And what's the point if you didn't win the belt? What is the point in spending all those hours on the bus and touching all those people's hands and grabbing all the babies and passing out all these American flags and all this shit if you didn't win the belt?
What's weird is the celebration that happens after the match.
Yeah.
Because they celebrate like he won the belt. Like,
yeah.
There's a balloon drop. I mean, like, he's, like, lifted up by, I think, the Steiner brothers.
Yeah, the Steiner brothers come out and lift him up on their shoulders. Tatanka comes out. Macho Man Randy Savage comes out.
There's a big American flag waving.
Yeah, Luger has a giant American flag. Right. Big American flag he's waving. Yeah, as you said, there's big red, white, and blue American balloon drop. And
it's not just one balloon drop. There's like 4 separate balloon drops that happen over the course of this celebration. Very strange. They show Yokozuna eventually on the outside, still knocked out, just covered in balloons.
Right. Yeah, they celebrated as though he won the title.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't.
Yeah.
And so that's the story of the Lex Express.
Mm-hmm.
The little engine that couldn't and didn't, but should have.
Yeah.
But didn't. And Lex Luger, when he came to WWF, he had been world champion in WCW a couple times already. I believe twice already. He'd been world champion a couple times already. And in his whole time in WWF, Lex Luger, because after this, within 2 years of this happening, 1995, he was gone. He got out of there.
And went to WCW.
And returned to WCW. And became WCW World Champion again. I believe he became WCW World Champion at least 4 times, maybe 5. He was WCW US Champion several times. He was WCW World Tag Team Champion several times. I believe he was a WCW US Tag Team Champion. My point is, very successful in WCW, but kind of one of those where you see Vince, he did not like to reward people that he didn't build up. And especially if they came from WCW and were built up there, he did not like to reward you. And Lex Luger, the man who had the fans on his side and had the look, had it all, had it in the ring, wasn't the best wrestler in the world, no, but had it in the ring for sure, was a solid wrestler. Vince McMahon never put him over, never gave him one belt. Never had one belt in the WWF. And that's a shame. And should have won the world title here at SummerSlam 93, but did not. Won by countout. And that is the story of the Lex Express. That happened this week in 1993.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So we are going to wrap up our show with the rankings of top 5 men, top 5 women, and top 5 men's tag teams in WWE.
Okay. What do you want to start with? Let's start with the women.
Okay.
All right. So these rankings, what happens is Kay makes a top 5, I make a top 5, and they're given valuations, and then we combine them, and then we debate from there. And so
yeah, there's like a point system.
Yeah, first place gets so many points, second place so many, third, fourth, fifth, and then like I said, we combine them, and then we debate. So that's how we get our combined top 5 rankings here. All right, so first, the top 5 women rankings in WWE for this week. Number 5, Raquel Rodriguez, and she is 5th place. I believe isn't she getting a shot at the women's world title at Payback?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
4th place, Becky Lynch, who is still feuding with Trish Stratus. And I believe those two are fighting at Payback.
In a steel cage.
Yeah. 4th place, Becky Lynch there. 3rd place, Shayna Baszler, who recently at SummerSlam, wasn't it, put Ronda Rousey down in an MMA rules match. Number 2 in our rankings, Io Sky, who has been absolutely on fire lately. She's the WWE Women's Champion. And just this week, I'm trying to remember who that was. She beat
Zelina Vega.
Thank you. Yeah, in defense of her title on SmackDown. All right, and our number 1 ranked woman this week, Rhea Ripley, the WWE Women's World Champion. And she had a win over Candice LeRae by submission on Monday Night Raw this week. Rhea Ripley representing the Judgment Day in her number 1 spot there. All right, and now for the top 5 tag teams in WWE.
Men's tag teams.
Men's tag teams, correct. All right, at number 5, Alpha Academy. That is Otis and Chad Gable. At number 4, a relatively new tag team that's been pretty popular, Matt Riddle and Drew McIntyre. Or, what's their other name?
I call them the Glass Bros.
The Glass Bros?
But don't they have another one too? Like it sounds like a McGriddle or something. Isn't that it? McGriddle?
It may be. I think that's
it, yeah.
The Glass Bros makes them sound like a head's shop. You know?
Yeah.
Riddle and McIntyre still in 4th place, despite coming up short against the New Day on Monday Night Raw. 3rd place, the Street Profits, who picked up a win over the Brawling Brutes on SmackDown in what was allegedly a hardcore match. It was the least hardcore match I've ever seen.
Was there even a single weapon used?
I think there was. I kind of zoned out for most of SmackDown, honestly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Bray Wyatt stuff, and I just kind of went blank.
I don't think there were any weapons used other than like throwing someone against the announce table and the steel steps. But those don't count, in my opinion, as weapons.
The number 2 ranked tag team in the top 5, the New Day. And they picked up a win this week over Riddle and McIntyre on Monday Night Raw. And your number 1 tag team this week, the undisputed World Tag Team Champs, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And they picked up a win on Monday Night Raw. They beat Finn Balor and Damian Priest by disqualification. Alright, and last but not least, our top 5 men. If I can find that list. Yeah. Alright, number 5. The Intercontinental Champion, Gunther, who fell a bit, usually might be higher than 5th. I say fell a bit. This is our first show of doing this way. WWE Weekly. He usually, I think, would be higher than 5th, but he lost to Chad Gable by countout, which brings us to 4th place, Chad Gable, who got the win over the Intercontinental Champion by countout. So rocketed him up to 4th place there. 3rd place in the top 5, the luchador legend, the man who keeps going, keeps amazing us, Rey Mysterio, the United States champion. I'm glad they gave him another run with another belt. Man, it's just amazing. He got a win. He pinned Grayson Waller on SmackDown on Friday night and kept the U.S. title. Number 2 in the top 5. Kind of hate to give it up to him because he wasn't around for anything, but he is the undisputed Universal Champion. So, number 2, Roman Reigns of the Bloodline. And the number 1 in the top 5, the man who has been, for the most part, has been the fighting champion he said he was going to be. But I don't think he had a match this week, did he?
No.
Huh.
He had promos.
But he is still number 1 on our list. The World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins. So, we got number 1 men, Seth Rollins. Number 1 women, Rhea Ripley. Number 1 tag teams, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens this week. So, tune in and we'll see how things go for next week.
So, speaking of tuning in, when can they hear from us again?
So, you will next hear from us tomorrow
for our All-In recap show.
Oh, fuck, that's right. Jesus Christ. All In.
That's tomorrow.
Goddamn.
It starts tomorrow.
All In is tomorrow.
Yeah.
All In is tomorrow.
Yeah, so after All In, because it's an afternoon show, we're going to try and do our recap show that evening if possible. Yeah, if not, it should be
as quick as we can.
Yeah.
No, we're going to do it as quick as we can.
We just might have to rewatch a few matches, maybe. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. But you can always hear from us every Tuesday for This Week in AEW and every Saturday for WWE Weekly.
And usually we'll get this show, we'll get it up earlier. Today we had some things going on. But WWE Weekly, usually I would expect it up earlier in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm. To make sure you don't miss any shows when they come out, be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to good podcasts. Also, please rate us. 5 stars, 5 bones, 5 rainbows, whatever they'll let you give us. Subscribe on YouTube, where we also post our podcasts, so you can listen to us there. But also we have other YouTube content, such as unboxing videos and more to come. Asa, do you want to tell them about our exciting shows series that's starting on September 4th?
Yes, I do. So, starting September 4th, because it's the spooky season, starts, if your heart is true, it starts September 1st. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but I've noticed that there are dead leaves on the ground. So
the fall is coming.
It's fall. Yeah, the pumpkin spice is here. The dead leaves are here. It's fucking fall. It may be 90 degrees outside, but it's fall. Starting September 4th, we are going to have some Halloween Havoc watch-along shows. And I hope you are as excited about these as I am. We try to be knowledgeable, we try to be funny, and hopefully that'll make you want to watch these with us. So we're starting 4:30, September 4th is the first one. And
which one are we watching that day?
That is a surprise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted to tell them ahead of time.
No, it's going to be a Halloween Havoc. It's going to be from the 90s, I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
So it doesn't narrow it down a whole lot, because most of them are from the
all
90s.
The 90s, yeah.
But it's going to be a WCW Halloween Havoc from the 90s.
Mm-hmm. And we'll be in costume?
Yes. And
will there be Halloween candy and snacks?
There may be. There will definitely be some kind of snacks.
Snacks. I love a good themed snack.
But September 4th, 4:30. Watch our Twitter page for more info about how to join and everything. Our Twitter handle is No Bones Wrestling. That's No Bones Wrestling, RASSLIN. And that'll have all the info for how to join. It's free. The watch along is free. Yeah, we're just trying to have a good time. We're not charging you anything. So
yeah, come and hang out and watch spooky wrestling with us.
Yeah, the Halloween Havoc, I tell you, when I was a kid, WrestleMania was obviously my favorite show because it's the fucking biggest one. Starrcade was my second favorite show because it was WCW's biggest. But my third favorite show was always Halloween Havoc.
And you're currently, at this moment in time, wearing a Halloween Havoc shirt right now.
That's true, yeah. But now, yeah, so now, honestly, all things being equal, Halloween Havoc might be, I like it better than either of those, honestly, now. So, I like it better than WrestleMania, I'll tell you that. So, come join us. It'll be fun, I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
And, folks, that's about it. Thank you for coming and listening to WWE Weekly. And as Mick Foley would say, have a nice day. Bye.